Hey, welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast with me, Iona Meade at the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona, and welcome to Financial Freedom Sunday. So today we're going to be talking about in this episode soul clients and financial freedom. Every single Sunday I talk about the same topic as one of the seven freedoms on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast for living an intentional life. On this podcast, on this YouTube podcast, we talk about setting your intentions, being in alignment with your intentions, and taking soul guided action towards your intentions. And for me, that intention starts with a vision. Vision is powerful. And so I love to visualize, I love to create a vision board, and I have a vision board challenge for you to manifest more life work balance. It's a spiritual business vision board, and it's very in alignment with today's soul client income and financial freedom topic. So I talk about your vision, we talk about your values, and we talk about raising your vibrational frequency in order to manifest spiritual business success for you as a light worker, as a service-based business owner, as a spiritual entrepreneur. So if you are new to me, consider subscribing to the Soul Legacy TV YouTube podcast on the YouTube channel, or share this out. And thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel, and thank you for everyone who keeps sharing out these episodes. If you're listening on the podcast on Spotify, then welcome. Also share that out, or download, or even leave me a voice note. That would be amazing. I haven't had one as yet. All right, so let's dive into today's episode around soul clients and financial freedom. And let's put this into context in terms of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. And so again, if you are new to me, if you're not new to me, you'll know that I journal every day. And this is my video journal. I've turned what is my soul legacy journal, I call it. This is a blank notebook. It's called 365 Days of Your Spiritual Awakening Story, a co-created soul path to spiritual alchemy for light workers. As the founder of the Soul Legacy Academy and host of the Soul Legacy TV and the Soul Legacy movement, part of my movement is to support the mental health and well-being of our nation and our future generation. And part of that is finances, part of that is money, part of that is escaping a poverty consciousness and elevating a prosperity consciousness, right? I believe that that's where it starts, with our mind and our words, our thoughts, our energy, our soul-guided actions, and all of the things that we're passed down, right? And so legacy, leaving a legacy, is also including a financial legacy for me. And what just came to mind is when my dad passed, and him leaving the legacy of his home. It ended up being a financial legacy for his children, but he really wanted to leave that home. And so as a light worker, as a service-based business owner, a spiritual entrepreneur, I know that we're not driven by money. So we work with our soul clients because our soul is calling us to make a difference in the world, right? Okay. However, when we have a spiritual business, when we are in business, our business is about contributing to the world and also receiving financial freedom, right? Or some form of energy exchange, some form of money. And although there's many thoughts about money and the beliefs around money, and money is all evil, money is the root of all evil, money is blah, 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 all the things, right? You know, money doesn't grow on trees, all the things that we are told and conditioned to. What I have come to understand is that if I, as a spiritual entrepreneur, when you have that entrepreneurial mindset, you don't want to work for someone else in a job because it just doesn't sit right. And you want to spend your days being in service, and you're trying to figure that out and build a business around it. You've got to get good at receiving money. And you've also got to get really good at marketing your business, which is a challenge for many of us. Is like, oh, the M word in marketing. And for me, this is my marketing. I wanted to turn my marketing into an experience and a conversation that I absolutely love. And so I talk about, and I have talked about, if you've heard me, talking about particular coach that I had a session from many years ago, 2 sessions from actually, and he talked about, he's got a book with a co-author and who was a mentor of his called The Prosperous Coach. It's Rich Litvin. He actually gave me a confidence breakthrough session years ago, many years ago. He was on a mission to be in service, and the book, The Prosperous Coach, obviously prosperity, and that's what I talk about now. And so he says, he said that what he did was build his business in a way that the marketing felt like it was just coaching. There wasn't a differentiation between what he wanted to do, like, and be in service and actually serving. And I was like, oh, that's genius. How do I do that? I really want to do that in my business. This was many years ago. And then subconsciously in the back of my mind, my subconscious was conjuring up ways for me to do that. And so I turned my journaling, a practice that I do every single day, into a companion journal for my co-author book series, where I have co-authors sharing their spiritual awakening story. And so what I do now is just speak about living an intentional life, and I just share my life as it unfolds, as I manifest more life-work balance. So I reckon that you're going to really enjoy this episode. So prosperity is something that I've studied over the years, and I have a 7-day course called the Prosperity Thinkers series. It's moving from, again, poverty thinking to prosperity thinking, and this is the theme for Financial Freedom Sunday. And there's a book that I was listening to. I listen to or read a book every single day, and the book that I was listening to today, it popped into my mind a couple of days ago, I think, while I was on the podcast. And I was like, actually, I'm going to listen to this book. And it's called A Prosperity Consciousness by Frederick Lerman. Now, I don't have the original that I had listened to from this book. I was listening to it on Audible, but I actually purchased this book many years ago. I don't actually know when exactly, but I will date myself and I will say that I had a Walkman. If you don't even know what a Walkman is, I had a Walkman and cassette tapes when I first listened to this Audible book, Prosperity Consciousness. That's how old it is. And Frederick Lerman. And so I was listening to it again today, and I've listened to it over the years and more recently. And I will share this in my mastermind along with the book called Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind principle. And I want to say, actually, a side note is that as I rebuild my mastermind, and the first member into my mastermind this year, who I'm going to tell the whole story in a second, but as we go through this episode, but she actually was looking at and reading the quote on masterminds, and she's like, oh, that's interesting. And then when she went to schedule into the mastermind, she said, oh my gosh, these are the words that I'd just been reading just yesterday, and now they're on your mastermind form. I was like, that's how the universe works. Think and Grow Rich, right? I didn't. I Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill says that when two minds come together, it creates a third mind, right? That consciousness where you can create. So if you're someone who believes that you have money blocks, or you're like, I don't feel worthy of blah, 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 just really educate yourself on the energy of prosperity and the energy of money. It just is energy. I did a Reiki practitioner course, a money Reiki, and it was just really interesting to just really take it for what it is. And as part of the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, to just have the financial freedom just be one of the 7 freedoms. And it's one of the crucial 7 freedoms that will fuel the other freedoms. So, and if you don't know, I talk about contributing in the world and the freedom and the frequency of that, your vision for that, your values around that, and the vibration of it, your health freedom, your emotional freedom, your environmental freedom, your relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and financial freedom. It's just one of them. It impacts all of the other 6 areas. And so I didn't leave it until a Sunday to talk about it, or the 7th day. It just happened to be like that. But I love it because as we talk all week, we come to the financial freedom, and then tomorrow is contribution freedom. And I share in my book how they're linked and how I've linked them and how I've come to peace with them. So, talking about the prosperity consciousness book from Frederick Lerman, he was talking about, well, the particular, when you open a book and you're just like, oh, that's what I needed to hear. Well, I just played where I left off, and he was saying about his words were something along the lines of think of it as a cycle, a returning cycle, that would just come back to you. And I was like, okay, I need to rewind. So I rewound just like a few seconds, and he was talking about the energy of tithing. And every single day I'll say, let's play the Bank 50K in 50 days challenge, and we'll do this from Bank 50K in 50 days vibrationally first and tithe 10% of our money. And so he says, when you think about tithing, many people think about tithing, they think about tithing 10% of their income, but then it's like a negative association, meaning that you kind of pulling and pushing yourself in two different directions, meaning you're believing that the idea that has passed down is more than where it originated from. He talked about the two perspectives, and the idea that's passed down is that we tithe in order to get tenfold of the money back, like 10 times the money. I'll tithe this 10%, and I'm going to receive money back. So you're giving to receive, and it's like, that saying, right? You just give, and you will receive, but you don't give. If you give with the energy of receiving, it's kind of like not the thing, right? So we're tithing 10% and just practicing that energy vibrationally first, and then when we bank the money in the visible world, we tithe that money, right, to our worthy cause. So which I'm about to do. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's time to do that, figure it out and do that. So Frederick Lerman says in the Prosperity Consciousness book that tithing, actually the original place of where it came from was like the farmer's fields of the crops, of when you're harvesting the crops. If you take everything away, that there's not plentiful in the field. So if you leave 10%, that will reap like tenfold back. So you're nurturing that. And so I'm like, I get it. Do you get it? So it's giving that just freely, giving it back to the universe. He says, think of it that way. So he said a lot more things in the book. It's just, I rarely recommend the book. I talk about the Bank 50K in 50 Days Challenge and the Ask and It Is Given book with the Prosperity Game from Jerry and Esther Hicks. The prosperity is the theme. It's not just financial freedom. And then when you do play their prosperity game, they say money is obviously energy. So they're saying spend money, like use a checking account. That's how all that idea is we don't even use the checking accounts. And spend the money, like feel spending the money, and spend 1,000, then 2,000, and 3,000, and 4,000. If you do it for a year, it's 66 million. And I didn't feel really comfortable spending 66 million, just like blowing it kind of thing. That's how it felt. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to do 50K and imagine that I've earned this money from soul clients. Frederick Lerman, as I'd listened to it again over this last couple of years, or this last year or so, I'm like, oh my gosh, he has a version of, before I even got the book Ask and It Is Given, he has a version of that game, not the same as theirs, it's different as well. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd forgotten about both of them in terms of when I created my game. They were influenced, but I just wanted to do it in a way that I could feel like my soul client income coming through my soul work. And I love the game. And so I added to not only the game to play the Bank 50K in 50 days, I actually got a Fiverr guy to create a vibrational money voucher so I could give you. So my journal, the Soul Legacy Journal, is a journal that leaves financial freedom for you. And I think, oh, wow. So we journal about our experiences, and we journal about the financial freedom. But when we think of, for me, when I think of the vision of financial freedom and the legacy of financial freedom, it's not only for me, it's for my daughter and my granddaughter, my family, my loved ones, as in my dad and my mum. My mum is more of a person where, like, I'm going to leave you the legacy, but I want to see you spend it. So she'll give it, like, now she wants to see that. And my dad did as well, but my mum's like, we've had a lot of losses in our family. And I love that, and I want to do the same. I want to do a mixture of both. So that's what I've been shown around money. But as we grow, as we are children and we grow older, the experiences that we see around money may not have been always positive. And excuse me, those are the things that we're passed down. The ideas around money. And what I wanted to do was create this YouTube podcast and this process for us to heal our relationship around money and actually understand what a poverty consciousness is doing to us. And I often refer to a program. It's a program in the UK that talks about the wealth divide and the bottom 10% and the top 10% income earners, and the difference in the experiences of their life, which is when I started to associate the money affording the lifestyle. And the lifestyle that these two families had that lived in different homes. One, the program shows you the family living, earning like the bottom 10%, what experience they have in life. And the top 10%, what the home that they live in, very different night and day, the holidays that they go on, the habits that they have, the hobbies that they have, the food that they eat, the conversations that they have, the mindset, the energy, everything is different. And that is legacy. As I talk about the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast for contribution, they're contributing in very different ways in the world and receiving the money energy exchange for what it is that they do. That was very intriguing to me, and it has been over my journey. Is like, when you look at a house, a big house. When I used to look at a big house, I used to watch the houses and where in particular my son's friends lived, and I was like, that's a very different house, this is a very different street to where we live, not that far. And that's the same thing as the program. And you go in these houses and it's like, what do they do to be able to afford that house? Those are the questions that I started to ask. And when I was with my ex-husband, he worked on houses, on the roofs of houses and thatched houses that were worth a lot of money. And I went into these houses and I would ask the same thing. What do they actually do to be able to afford this house? And so when I was cleaning homes and going in those houses, I was like, I got to speak to my clients of what do they actually do? And a lot of them were self-employed. A lot of them were not employed by someone because they just wouldn't have been able to afford the houses that they had. They knew something else that I didn't know. They knew that energy exchange for money wasn't necessarily just trading time for money. And I was like, I was really intrigued. So, and I talk about a barn conversion in particular with one of my clients. She was a business coach. I was like, well, I'm a business coach. I came offline to help and heal myself first after my son passed, but I was a business coach. And I was like, this could be my way, right? I'd set that intention. I'd actually looked at this barn conversion a few years before actually being in the exact same barn conversion that I was visualizing. And I recognized it because I saw a blue sofa. And I was like, this was the barn that I had on my vision board, looking at barn conversions and visualizing myself while I was in my homeless place. And I remember hearing, and it might have even been in the Frederick Lerman Prosperity Consciousness book, that whatever it is that we want to create will be created for us, even if it means that the home had to be built. And my home that I moved into was being built, and I didn't know that was the home that I'd just given up after 11 years. And so I was visualizing being in a barn conversion, didn't have the money. I was homeless, right? I was like, okay. I didn't know what I now know. I wasn't in the position. I was just going through creating the Prosperity Thinker series when I was lost my home with my ex-husband. although it had equity in it, and I ended up homeless. And I was like, okay, then I want to buy my home outright. I want to buy a barn conversion because I'd seen barn conversions and I'd gone to work with him. All of the dots were connecting. And so visualizing and then coming offline, and I was in one of the homes that I was visualizing, and I was like, oh. In the Prosperity Consciousness book that I was listening to today, Frederick Lerman said about thinking about rich people, and that rich people are some type of way greedy or what have you, just not liking rich people, resenting rich people, etc. And if we feel like that, we won't want to be rich. We won't want to have financial freedom, because that means that we would resent ourselves. And getting the chance for me to see a beautiful soul, beautiful lady. I've still got a number on my phone, and I'd sent her last year a Mother's Day message, and she's like, was this meant for me? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, even my own children had not messaged me. She said, like, thank you. She said, I gave up the barn because I'd had hoped I was going to buy that particular barn. And so I realized that, she was just a normal person. We'd talk, I'd clean the home, she'd come home, and she did work from home, but she'd go out as well. And she came home and we would chat, and we'd chat for absolutely ages. We had a lot in common. And I kind of got the experience of the rich house, poor house kind of thing. Like, it was just really, really, it was a great experience for me to heal my relationship with the vision that I actually wanted and what I would be doing in the world to manifest. Now, I talk about financial freedom Sunday of Soul Clients and Financial Freedom, and I wanted to associate the tithing, earning my money and tithing in my business, but also earning the money and how I would earn that money. Like I said, when I was doing the prosperity game from Abraham Hicks, I wanted to connect it with my business. I wanted to feel that. So I did a spiritual business vision board challenge, and I've done my vision board for myself, and I've done it for you. So you can go through that vision board. I'll leave the link in the cards in the description for you to manifest the life that you actually want to experience. So here I am, thinking about soul clients and today, and doing my daily walk, getting ready for this YouTube podcast that I do every single Sunday. And I haven't done it for a couple of weeks because I was basking in the energy of welcoming in the manifestations on my vision board. And so after this last couple of weeks, I came back online on Thursday. And so environmental freedom, again, thinking about the barn conversion. Relationship freedom was Friday, thinking about my relationships. Spiritual freedom was yesterday, thinking about spirituality and manifesting. And today, here lands the Bank 50K in 50 Days of Financial Freedom. And when I look back over this last couple of weeks, it's now February, we're in 2024. I can't even believe it. I don't even know what day it is, but we've just had Valentine's Day on Wednesday. So it's like, wow. When I look back on December is when I do my spiritual business vision board and the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge. And it's the second week in December. And I put more things on my vision board, and I went live and I did my vision board, and I do it for me. And then this journaling process, this 7 Freedoms Frequency podcast, is to manifest more life-work balance in 2024 and manifest spiritual business success. That's where I believe my financial freedom will come. Now, as I'm walking and I'm getting ready to do the live, I've been talking about, this live isn't free. I stream out via StreamYard. So I got the notification from my bank that I'd paid £44 to do this for my business. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. When the money goes out. And so Frederick Lerman was talking about when the money goes out, like blessing that money, like just feeling good about that money. Like when the money goes, the prosperity consciousness is knowing that the money will come back. So I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like smiling when the money's going out, and then some more money went out for a tool called vidIQ as a spiritual YouTuber. I'm working on my YouTube videos, right? And so I use software for that. So vidIQ went out. I was like, the amount went out and I didn't know what it was for. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then another amount went out because I usually purchase these two tools at the same time. So TubeBuddy went out. I was like, okay. But if the money wasn't in the account, then I wouldn't be able to work with my soul clients the way that and reach my soul clients and do the marketing for my soul clients. This is marketing. Those three things were for marketing. So if we add them up, like £44, £8.99, and another £6 something, say, I don't know, 45, I don't know, 55, £60 or something like that, right? Yeah, £60 as part of the marketing. That's not the only marketing. I've just invested back into the women helping women entrepreneurs group, which my post is not firing, and I'm like going to figure that out. But that's like a chunk of money to be able to invest, and I wasn't always there when I was in the homeless place, and I was having the vision of like, no, before the even homeless place, just having the vision, working with my ex-husband and thinking like, what do they do? I didn't even know what being self-employed was. I didn't know what marketing was. And here I am, many years later, paying for marketing to have a conversation with you, right, on YouTube. And I love it. I love that the manifestations, I know who my soul clients are, etc. So all that to say that when you work with your soul clients, that money has come from working with my soul clients. And in particular, a soul client who had come through the mastermind. And I was like, oh, it's a direct correlation, excuse me, between soul client income and financial freedom. Now, on my walk here, I was going to frame this episode in a different way. And as I'm speaking, it's just coming to mind because I'm getting notifications. Now, you think that Financial Freedom Sunday, I'm just going to talk about finances. I'm just going to talk about money. And we are, excuse me. But what I know now, even more so, is it's the lifestyle that the money brings. It's not just money. Yes, it's tithing. Yes, it's the energy. But it's not just, I want to earn money for the sake of it. Money doesn't drive us as light workers, as service-based business owners and spiritual entrepreneurs. But again, if we don't want to go out and work a soul-sucking day job, which we do if we need to, but then at the point where it's like, okay, I'm open and I'm at the vibrational frequency to receive the financial freedom, that in and of itself can be a challenge, especially when we think about contributing in the world and having fear around contributing, fear around showing up, speaking out, serving deep, fear around speaking to our soul clients, fear around not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not feeling, excuse me, all of those things. And when we are vibrating at a lower frequency of fear, it's not the same energy as freedom. So that's why I do the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, because I want to support you in raising your vibrational frequency to the Cheers to Financial Freedom frequency, living an intentional life as I walk my own talk and do things myself. So oftentimes I talk about our vision and I talk about how you feel. So I want to say, how do you feel in terms of your finances? Mine is at an 11. And every single day on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, I talk about and ask you, how do you feel? Rate between a 1 and 11. On the Spiritual Business Vision Board Challenge, I share with you more about this rating and more about why I say, are you in soul funk or are you in soul flow? Around each area: contribution, health, emotions, environment, relationships, spirituality, and finances. Today, specifically, how are you feeling about your finances? Is it coming to you? Is it flowing? Is it like that, cycle, like it ebbs and flows? And one of the things that in Esther and Jerry Hicks, their processes, they say, have a certain amount of money in your wallet. So yesterday it's £100. Yesterday I'd taken money out of the bank to give it to someone, and they said, you don't have to give me anything. I said, I know I don't have to, but I wanted to. And she's like, no, you don't have to. I was like, this is an opportunity to put the money back in my wallet that I'd done when I was playing the prosperity game and the different, not the prosperity game, it's the wallet process from Abraham Hicks. And one of these processes is feeling the money and being able to spend that money over and over and over again, but leaving it there. So this £100 could be spent on a gazillion things. And that was like the combination of the soul income game, the bank 50K in 50 days, £1,000, dollars or euros every single day, you spending your vibrational money. Every time you get it, what would you spend it on? What would you spend it on? What would you spend it on? Who would you be spending your money, and how you feel about when you're spending that money? Like getting used to the vibration of that money coming in and that money coming out, going out, right? And it just being energy, not being a big deal. And so I was like, just practicing that. And I've come a really long way. And so I've mentioned, as part of this Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast this week, setting the intention to launch my day, lead my day, and leave my day, and add more spiritual practices and releasing money, releasing the feelings. And so one of the practices is tapping for 1 million and visualizing a guided meditation at bedtime. These are bedtime practices of visualizing as being a billionaire, and reading a book called Make It Happen. I will read Think and Grow Rich as well at night. Once I've read the Make It Happen, I will go back to reading Think and Grow Rich. And so it's like, well, why would you do that? Because I know that on my spiritual business vision board, it is about working with my soul clients, not having the fear around it, feeling worthy around it, and actually serving to that level. And if I don't serve to the level that I want to serve, I'm not going to be able to buy my barn conversion. Yes, I don't serve for the money, but I wanted to be good with contributing in the world and receiving the financial freedom so that I can use the money as a tool to influence my lifestyle. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to use a specific example. When I say how you feel, and we rate our vibrational frequency all week, when we get to today, which is Financial Freedom Sunday, I want you to journal and add up your scores through the week. So if you haven't been with me, you can start with me from Monday and rate your vibrational frequency around your contribution. So you rate between a 1 and 11, how you feel in soul funk or soul flow. Mine was an 11. How you feel around your health, an 11 for me. So emotion, how you feel around your emotions, 11 again. How you feel around your environment, 11 again. How you feel around your relationships, 11 again. Spirituality, 11 again. So for my vibrational frequency on the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast, these topics, these themes and areas of my life, I score a 77. Great, I'm high vibing. What was I doing in order for me to feel in soul flow is what I want to do, and do more of the same. And even though I may dip a little bit throughout the week, my predominant vibration is at a 77. Now, you could rate between a 1 and a 77. And what I want to do is invite you to see where you're vibing and notice what it is that you're doing, how you're launching your day, leading your day, and leaving your day. And if it feels like ease, grace, and flow, and if it doesn't, what are the soul-guided action steps can you take in order to raise your vibrational frequency around money, around receiving it, around giving it, around spending it, around, do you know what I mean? Playing the vibrational money voucher, the vibrational money game, the soul income game, I call it. Now, the soul income game, we play and we tithe the 10% every single day. And if you haven't tithed all of the money, today's the day where you've got to spend it or you lose it. So I usually use a Sunday to spend all of my vibrational money voucher. So I usually share what I will spend it on. That's my promise to you. Like I walk my talk. What I have been spending it on, and I didn't actually spend all of it, and I will do after this live, is things for my relationship. Now, I want to say that I had spent it on an Airbnb, the vibrational money, um, I'm just looking in my diary, my journal. I spent the vibrational money voucher on an Airbnb for a romantic weekend away. Now, hey, welcome to the Soul Legacy TV, Spiritual Business Success with Iona, talking about financial freedom and soul clients today. So if you're new to me, let me know. And if you're not new to me, leave a comment. Leave a comment anyway. Financial freedom. How do you feel about contributing in the world and receiving financial freedom? Oftentimes, many people that I work with don't feel worthy of receiving. In fact, they don't even feel worthy of serving. They question them serving. And so I'm here to support you in moving into that prosperity consciousness. Sorry, not poverty consciousness. So one of the things that I did was spend the vibrational money voucher on this, and I have the money to spend it on. We've just got to get confirmations, and I'm going to talk about my spiritual business vision board in relation to that and the 7 freedoms. Now I'm looking at an entry in my journal, and it's around the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. Now it's all going to tie in, I promise. The Chicken Soup for the Soul series is a book, right? So I'm an author. I'm a 4-time #1 best-selling author, and I wanted to contribute in the world, and I wanted to contribute in a way that is in alignment with my soul and my soul calling. Now, this is part of my soul calling, the 7 freedoms, living an intentional life, but also I don't believe that I'm here to do it alone. They say behind every good woman or man is a strong woman or man, whichever preference. And I do believe that. I do believe in teamwork. I do believe that I have this soul calling. And as I was walking and I was listening, and like finances, when I had this vision of, I'd been in relationships and being homeless and bankrupt and all the things. And I was like, I made a vow I never wanted to rely on a man again, ever in my marriage. And I was like, that is just never going to happen. It just happened almost by accident, but it's like, well, not intentionally, not by accident. And then they say that part of the arguments in marriage, part of the divorce rate is contributing to finances. And I've had these debates and these tensions in all of my relationships, 3 significant relationships. So I had on my vision board in December, my soulmate, manifesting my soulmate, my husband, my person, my one. But I didn't want finances to be an issue. I wanted to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. So when I did my vision board challenge for manifesting a spiritual business, I was visualizing how I want to launch my day, lead my day, and leave my day. And it wasn't alone. I wanted to manifest my person. And so the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, that's part of the contribution in the world. And doing a TED Talk as one of the things that I wanted to contribute. And I have been manifesting different things, and I've entered to do a TED Talk. And I was thinking about it on the way here and my walk, and lo and behold, I got a message. It's not to approve my TED Talk. At first I thought, oh my gosh, what are the chances of that? One, it was talking about video games being a waste of time and love. And the thoughts around love, and I was like, fantastic, because I just had the vision that I actually probably want to speak about manifesting love. And the reason, not manifesting love, manifesting my soulmate and my husband, the person, the one, because as I was guided to look for the Chicken Soup for the Soul and contribute as an author or a co-author or contributor, I didn't know what I would write it on. And so I'd set an alarm, living an intentional life. I want to contribute. I set an alarm, and I had the date for their submission deadline, which is the 28th of February. I don't know if I will, hey, welcome. I don't know if I'll hit that deadline because I've got early learning dyslexia, but I'm going to try. And last week I set my alarm to write a little bit, and I bought the book, the Chicken Soup for the Soul, and I'm going to go for one of the titles called Positive Thinking. Now, I'm just been talking about prosperity consciousness, right? So I was like, that's fitting, great. Didn't know what it would be. And like I said, I've taken like a couple of weeks to really bask and sit in the energy of manifesting my relationship. And so I was like, okay, well, it could be about that. What could it be about? And then yesterday, my alarm had gone off on my live about the Chicken Soup for the Soul. I was like, I'm going to set aside some time today to do my writing. So the ideas that have come, I'm like, well, the biggest thing that's on my mind right now is dating and manifesting my husband. So I'm going to write about that. Like, I've had to think positively to be on the dating app for 2 years on and off to manifest my person. Like, that takes, at the age of 50, I'm like, okay, that could be a story. So I'm like writing this out and blah, blah, blah. And lo and behold, actually, this is actually going to go in to the book. I'm not actually going to disclose what that is. This is going to go in the book. Like, let me write down what just happened before I went on my live, and the miscommunication and the misunderstanding and the techie glitches of the internet and airplane mode and all the things. Thinking positive. We've just done that together, which is just absolutely amazing. Which I said to him, I'm going to write what it is and I'm going to share with you before I get it approved. And I'm actually going to put this in the book as well, in the submission, whether it gets approved or not. Right. Okay. We've talked about your vision. We've talked about how you feel. Now, the way that situation could have made me feel was, in fact, it did it triggered me, but and it triggered him, but in a way that we could know what our intentions were. It's like, what just happened? And a miscommunication in messages and the pace of messages and messages going through, and me actually taking time to say, hey, what is this? And we got to the bottom of it, and it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful story, and it's a beautiful journey, actually, and I love it. I'm processing as I'm speaking. So I'm like, okay, my contribution is going to be talking about manifesting and living intentionally and soul clients and financial freedom. This is where it ties into actually having experience. Yes, I can do the vibrational money voucher and spend the Airbnb, and I've shared it with him, and I was like, yes, let's do that. And he's like, yeah, really up for it. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be my treat. I've never done that for someone. Other people have done certain things for me, not the same. My twin flame had taken me on holiday, which was really beautiful, actually, thinking about it now, and accepted that. But I haven't done that or been in the position or even wanted to, even thought about doing it for anyone else. Or, yeah, I didn't associate with it, but I'm processing now, thinking of financial freedom. But anyway, so we're not driven by the money as light workers, as service-based business owners, as spiritual entrepreneurs, but we do know that we want to make a difference in the world. And in my book, Spiritual YouTubers from Scratch, a soul-guided influence compass to leverage your light work and lifestyle on YouTube, I talk about making the correlation and connection between contributing and financial freedom, and having the finances show up in your bank when you work with your soul clients. So bear in mind, I've done this vision board challenge, and I've done the 7 freedoms of the things that I wanted to manifest in December, the second week in December, for 7 days. This particular student, soul client, soul sister, has done this guided meditation. So when I say soul clients, I don't just mean I'm plucking clients out of thin air, or like I believe in soul, I believe in soulmates, I believe in soul clients, and I walk my talk and trust that the universe will provide that and reveal them to me and me to them. And people do say, I said out loud, and there you were, you manifested. Loads of people said that to me over the time. So this particular soul client had come out of this shamanic journey, like this meditation and these visualizations, and opened her eyes. You know who you are if you're watching. And there I am doing my vision board challenge. Now, spiritual business success for me looks like being consistent. So I'd come back online after a year of looking after 3 children under 5. And I'd done my vision board in July for myself, and I did it again in December. I'd already scheduled out my business to do that. And I was like, I have got to do this vision board challenge. I'd promised myself to continue my schedule. Bear in mind, when I was fostering for a year, I didn't do it in that December, although I'd planned to. So this December, I'm like, I'm doing it. So I'm doing my vision board challenge, and this soul client is going through this shamanic journey. And there I am showing up, speaking out and serving deep, doing my vision board challenge. She'd wanted to do a vision board, so we met in the middle. I'd now not been a kinship foster carer, which there was my finances coming from there. I was like, I want a relationship. That was one of the reasons. I want to be financially free. I want to travel while I teach. I want to do all the things. So I gave up my home in the trust of pursuing this journey. And there I am doing my vision board challenge. Well, the vision board challenge has all of these 7 areas, including financial freedom, including soul clients, including manifesting my husband, including being in different environments, including all the things. And so if I was to create the vision board and to not be vibrational match, I wouldn't be able to tell you these stories. So the soul client, so we get on a call. I'd set the intention to bank 50K 50 days. We get on a call a couple of weeks after, because it's Christmas, and the 5th of January, I think. And we just hit it off from the get-go, like soul clients, soul sisters, soul brothers, soul is for real in my eyes, whether you believe it or not. I don't know, I'm sure that you do. But that just the connection is out of it's not that forcing it, it's that ease, grace, and flow. Welcome. It's that ease, grace, and flow, and knowing that we're called to our purpose, we're called to express that. We have a soul calling, I believe, and that's what I talk about every single day. And so we just got on really well, and there's not everybody that I'm going to welcome into my mastermind at all after the experiences that I've had. So I was like, you are perfect so much for my mastermind. Anyway, all of this transpiring to us working together. Now, if I hadn't of, the turn of events that happen with the universe, and you say, and you're going on your soul path and you're making decisions, and the synchronicities line up. So had I not have done the vision board challenge in the way that I'd done it at the time that I'd done it, it was half an hour after she'd come out of this journey, this wouldn't be happening. So not only am I committed and I've let go of the fear of working with my soul clients, because I was at that fear of failure, fear of success, and fear of selling. And you may have been experiencing that too. And if you've got a fear of selling, I talk about enrolling. But if you've got a fear of selling, it's going to impact your lifestyle that you can create based on these 7 freedoms and based on your vision board. So we got on it, basically a session, which is like part of my enrollment, right? So I've said, I'd love to work with you if it resonates, blah, blah, blah. And the way comes, I'm not going to talk out all of our business and all of our journey, but the way comes, right? The way comes to work together. And we said that, this is going to be my energy's moving, my belly's going, this is going to be a story that we tell. And I will get full permission to tell more of the details of the story, probably a lot further down the line. But the way will come, right? The way will come to invest in the path that you, and in the coach and in the mentor and the what have you. So the way came, and in me being in alignment and her being in alignment, we've got a beautiful relationship, and it will last a lifetime. It's just amazing. So many things have transpired. Anyway, in receiving the income from doing what I teach, showing up, speaking out, and serving deep, my YouTube challenge, and in creating the vision board challenge, not only did I go after like the TED Talk from being featured in an interview, it came up in synchronicity. I'd gone after that, and I'm like, okay, thinking about that today. Thinking about the Chicken Soup for the Soul series in contributing, because they're entwined. But I'm also able to say, oh, I'd like to visualize the Airbnb. Been to many places on my Airbnb. And when I did the vision board challenge in July and put Airbnb on my vision board, I manifested it money back, which I was able to then invest and go on Airbnb. I think it was the next day. And I was like, wow. And I had like time away and this beautiful Airbnb. So I started my spiritual digital nomad journey in an Airbnb. And it was lovely. I did my life from there. And then I went to Amsterdam. So I'd manifested a couple of things, like just more or less instantly. And then, so to now, I'm looking back from December to now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was within like a few weeks that I had swiped on my now person, my soulmate, my future husband, and I'm able to say, hey, would you like to go to that Airbnb? Yes, I'm spending the vibrational money voucher. I've been visualizing and sharing with you. I've been spending my vibrational money voucher before I manifested him, the beach wedding in the Maldives, doing all the things. And he's like, yeah, I'll get married on the beach. I want to wear shorts anyway. And the journey to having the finances through working with soul clients to be able to say, I'm contributing my own health. We are on a health journey together. Our emotions, you've got to be at that vibrational frequency. I'm just really happy in an environment that we will love. It's in Wales, which he doesn't mind driving. I'm like, yes, it's hours and hours and hours. And it's like he loves mountains and all the things. And I was like, I want to find a place so you can have mountains and just experience that, like visualizing that weekend. And the relationship that I didn't even have. You know what I mean? And now I have, which is going to be a significant time, which I'll share on my second YouTube channel for spiritual dating. And having the finances to be able to say yes to an experience in life through working with soul clients. It's that financial freedom, it's that connection that I wanted to make. It's okay. It's okay to say yes to marketing. It's okay to say yes to having an enrollment conversation. It's okay to create the business that is going to have you receive the money so that on your vision board you can say yes and actually have the experiences. And I was actually looking for engagement rings the other day, and it sounds like crazy. And he's like, oh, really? And I was like, yes, because that's what goes on the vision board. Like, until your mind can see it. So I read a book called The Happy Pocket Full of Money. It's like about the quantum physics of money. Your life is created by the images of your mind. If you don't have the images and the pictures in your mind, then you're not going to have that life. And so if you don't, as a service-based business owner, as a spiritual entrepreneur, as a light worker, if you don't have the images of working with your soul clients in mind first, already basking in that, being in service, then it's likely that you're pushing away your soul clients, which means that then you're not contributing in the world the way that you really want to. Hence why I do the vision board challenge, and hence why I'm doing this journaling process, so that we can have a big enough soul why that affects each area of our life. It's not just the financial freedom. It's not the bank 50k in 50 days for no reason. Excuse me. It's tithing. It's experiencing the emotions and the joy of having that experience. Like for me, that's that particular one, because that's what was on my mind today. And I paid for the Tinder app, and I blind swiped. And I'm going to talk about that in the Chicken Soup for the Soul, if that's in that chapter, whether it gets submitted or not. That's what I want to talk about. I paid for that, and I blind swiped, and I trusted that spiritual freedom, that guidance, that soul. Like I trusted my soul guidance. Do you know what I mean? So when you're working with and you set that intention to contribute in the world, Trust that your soul clients will come because you've set that intention, and trust that you'll have the opportunity to use the finances that come for your soul clients in your life. Now, if you're at the point where you're like, well, I don't really know what I want, do the Spiritual Business Vision Board Challenge and come and journal with me every single day so you can get clear on those intentions. Those two things merge without, and yeah, without visualizing that freedom, without playing the Bank 50K in 50 Days challenge, I know that I wouldn't be at the vibrational frequency for that to then just be the norm. Like a couple of months in after doing the vision board and visualizing and going through this whole process, and it being a month since we swiped, and then sitting and saying, oh my gosh, I'm in the position to do that. I'm truly grateful for that. With that said, I'm going to express gratitude. Excuse me. The Seven Freedoms Frequency way. I'm going to check my battery, actually. I think I'm good. Check my battery. The Seven Freedoms Frequency way, because that is what raises our vibrational frequency. That's what raises my vibration every single day, for me to then look back and say, how is this vision board manifesting and unfolding for me? When I get to December and I do the vision board again, I'm imagining all of the things that I will be sharing with you. And it's just that journey. And I think it's just such a beautiful journey. So let's express gratitude, the Seven Freedoms Frequency way. And for those of you who are playing this game with me, know that it works. It does work. So I say that I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate each area of my life, these 7 areas. And it might be something in the past, it might be something in the present, or it might be something in the predicted future. And that's why I'm grateful for in the predicted future. And I was grateful for manifesting my husband. We're not actually married yet, but I feel that way anyway. And he feels that way anyway. And we were dating, we are dating, we're in a relationship now for marriage. Every single step, every single conversation, every single has been dating with the intention of marriage, and manifesting someone and swiping on Tinder who would also be with me in vibrational alignment to take every single step with the intention of marriage, I think is like that needle in the haystack on the dating app. And that's what the title will be called. It's that needle in the haystack on the dating app, I'm telling you. So I had to be grateful for him first. And yeah. So I say I'm happy and I'm grateful and I appreciate it. Let's talk about contribution. And so I talk about in the book, A Spiritual YouTuber from Scratch Again, a soul-guided influencer's compass to leverage your Lightwork and Lifestyle on YouTube. If I didn't do the YouTube challenge and I wasn't leveraging my Lightwork and Lifestyle on YouTube, I wouldn't have been able to manifest that. I wouldn't be in vibrational frequency to that. So not only am I grateful, happy and grateful, and appreciate that I can contribute to my readers through the book, but I'm also able to contribute in my lifestyle to the person that I want to marry. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate my health and our health, our vision for health, and us going on a health journey together for ourselves and for each other. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that. I'd visualize that. So I'm like, oh, wow, this is cool. And contributing together, I'm happy and grateful and appreciate. I think this is just going to be about us. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate emotions. So we'd gone through, like I said, just before I'd gone live, we had a conversation. It was beautiful. Then we had a misunderstanding with like what was sent again. And I'm like, oh, that doesn't feel nice. Like, okay, let's like take some time. And what happened? And it was literally internet glitches and technical glitches. It's like, well, we know like this is a really good thing. And I didn't argue in my twin flame union, and I'm not about to start now. Like it's just not, it's not the relationship. It's not a magic marriage. And so I was like, oh, let's talk about it, and it's just so beautiful. Yeah, it's just so beautiful, emotional freedom. And he'd said to me, I haven't felt angry with you. And I was like, was that new to you? It's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Not that you need to, but it's just like, when you just bring out the most beautiful emotions in someone, when somebody triggers you. My soulmate that I was in a relationship with for 7 years was triggering in that way. And I was like, yeah, not feeling that. And relationships in general trigger you. And I just feel a sense of peace and calm. And I'm like, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm happy and grateful. Welcome to the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. It's Financial Freedom Sunday. I'm talking about soulmates and financial freedom. No, soul clients and financial freedom, but also being grateful for what we have and what that money can bring as well, but also the free things in life. My battery is going to go, so I have to wrap up. So I'm happy and grateful and appreciate environment. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate that my partner wants to build parts of my brand conversion. I'm like that. I had that on my vision board again, December, and manifesting someone who is absolutely capable of that and that would make him happy. I'm like, wow. I'm like, yes, happy and grateful for that. Happy and grateful and appreciate relationship freedom, my relationship with my partner, with my husband. Really happy and grateful for that. Happy and grateful and appreciate just the openness and the communication and all the things, just really basking in that. It is beautiful. And being able to write the book, Waiting for the One, Soulmate, Soul, Sex and Marriage, the ultimate guide to soulmate attraction, sacred sex and a magic marriage. I'm living into that book, so I'm really grateful for him. I'm really happy and grateful, for spiritual freedom, just soul. It's just soul clients, soul mate, soul. Everything has soul in it. Trusting in my soul guidance, for being a soul guided influencer. I love that. And creating that movement, the soul legacy movement, to see, hear, and feel more soul guided influencers on this earthly plane. Yes, to that. And soul guided millionaires in the making, right? And soul guided billionaires in the making, right? Yes. I'm happy and grateful and appreciate financial freedom, that soul guided millionaires in the making, that my work can contribute to having my energy and my tummy, soul guided millionaires in the making. That for me, and soul guided billionaires in the making, that is the story, that is the legacy. The Soul Legacy Academy is here for, the Soul Legacy TV and the Soul Legacy movement, escaping poverty and elevating prosperity. Yes. Yes. All right. So we've done our vision board. We've done your values. Are you in alignment with your values as you are building your spiritual business? I have to be honest, and integrity and authentic. Authenticity has a vibration beyond love. It's just so beautiful. We've done how you launch your day, how you leave your day, and how you lead your day. How can you add the space for working with your soul clients so that you can receive the financial freedom in your day, right? What are the 1 to 3 things that you could do to enhance that and to have that manifest and make that a reality? I'm going to invite you to my Bank 50K 50 Days challenge for real on my masterclass, so that I can share with you how to speak to, serve, and sign up your high paying one-to-many soul clients online. And I'm like, yes, it's beautiful. We've done gratitude. We've got the card for today. I talked about the book, Prosperity Consciousness. So we've just got, and I've talked about the banking 50K in 50 days. That's fantastic. Playing the soul income game. So we've just got the card, and for you to come and join me and have a conversation. So that's pretty cool. So I pulled the card for today from Keepers of the Light. And so this card is Krishna, devotion. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. That is the alarm again for the chicken soup of the soul. And I'm going to carry on writing after I get off this live. I've been writing already. It's going to go off in 10 minutes, so I'm going to get done. Trust your spiritual guidance. Your commitment has been recognized. You are loved unconditionally. And based on what I was just saying before I came on the live, I'm like, this is for me energetically. This is for you too. Hopefully it will resonate. So about Krishna is the Hindu god who is known as the Mahavata. I can't say that. Mahavata, great avatar. All right. And embodies divine wisdom, one of India's best loved gods. He is an approachable, kind, loving, and supportive guide. He is a peaceful being with a great love for all people and animals. He is often depicted with a calf or lamb, which is a symbol of innocence. It was a very innocent misunderstanding, and a peacock feather on his head, which is said to honor the divine feminine. He was the spiritual guide of the warrior of soul, Arjuna, as related in the Hindu epic Bhagavad Gita, which really is the story of choosing love over fear. Wow, I'm gonna send this. Wow, and helps us to move beyond the limitations and the wars of ego creates in our minds, and maybe even the world around us. His twin flame is Rahada. I love that. That's so beautiful. Extended message. You have a deep spiritual connection and must trust the guidance that's coming through you, or coming through, sorry. Your devotion is to the spiritual path. Your devotion to the spiritual path has been recognized. It may feel as though you've been on a mental, emotional battlefield. Yes, but there are sweet messages of hope around you now. Krishna is here to boost your sense of connection to the divine and encourage you to act from your soul. That's exactly what I did do. It is a decision. If a decision needs to be made, ask yourself, what will honor your soul and those around you? If you can choose the best for all involved, then you will feel even closer to the divine. And that's exactly what I just did. I'm so proud of myself. I love that. And yeah, and the Krishna and the Indian connection is a connection to my partner. And I love that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wait until he hears this. He'll be like, oh my gosh, you're talking our business. he'll know. I love it. That is it, I think, for the Seven Freedoms Frequency podcast. I've really enjoyed this podcast. Again, this is for me first. And if it's resonated with you and it's helped you and it's inspired you and it's like helped you connect the dots, then my work here is done. Come to the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Masterclass, Bank 50K 50 Days Challenge. Come to and I will support you in speaking to, serving, and signing up your high paying soul clients online. Come to our monthly call for the Spiritual Biz YouTubers Network, SBYN, for YouTube podcasting partnerships, and the Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs and Lightworkers free networking call. It happens on the first Monday of the month at 9 p.m. UK time. I will leave all links in the description below. When you come to the masterclass, I will let you know how to get into the group. If you want to join the Spiritual Business Vision Board Facebook group, you can. Links will be in the description. If you want to come to the monthly call, the Facebook group is called Spiritual Women Entrepreneurs and Lightworkers free monthly networking call with me, Iona Meade. I would love to have you on that call. It's free. If you go to the Soul Legacy TV, if you go to the Soul Legacy, www.soullegacyacademy.com, you'll see a link to our monthly call there, and you'll be able to schedule on. Ooh, that was my gratitude stone. You'll be able to schedule on. I think that's it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, share this out. Come back next Sunday and let me know what you're spending your vibrational money voucher on. And as always, share your gifts and shine your light. Be blessed in your soul purpose. You are born to serve. Big, 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 big love. Speak to you soon. Take care.